Dear fellow coders, welcome to One Little Coder. This video is about a topic that a lot of programmers feel very personal about, which is programming languages. Programming languages popularity is something a lot of programmers, especially on online communities, would discuss a lot, and there is a name for it called language wars. So what we are going to do in this video is use a metric, which is something called TIOBE index. We're going to use that metric to see or visualize popular programming languages using Python. So this video is actually going to use Python code, but we are going to see all the programming languages that are popular according to TIOBE index. To give you a disclaimer, TIOBE index is not widely agreed among a programming community. The way they calculate has been criticized a couple of times, but nevertheless, it's another metric, and then we can have a look at it. So we are not going to go to TIOBE index website at all. We are going to do completely everything programmatically. So the first step is you need to install a very nice package called tiobeindexpy. So I am using Kaggle notebook. There is no data set attached to it. It's a simple Kaggle notebook because I thought it's easy to share, but you can use Google Colab or even your own Jupyter notebook, or even your any the terminal or REPL like Python shell that you want to use. So the first step is install TIOBE index. So once we install tiobeindexpy, then the first step is done. So the package is installed. Now let's load the package from tiobeindexpy. Import tiobeindexpy as with an alias tbpy, and then we are importing cbond for data visualization. Let's run it, and I'm trying to just set up a simple chart size so that every time I make a chart, it is of the same size. So now that basic preparation is done, so the first thing that we are trying to do is we are trying to extract top 20 programming languages. Top 20 programming languages, again according to TIOBE index, right? So once we do that, we are going to have a data frame which says top 20. So you can see April 2021's ratings and April 2020's ratings, and what are the languages sorted by rating. You can see the rating percentage. So the first the most popular language according to TIOBE index for the month of April 2021 is C, followed by Java, followed by Python, and then you have got a lot of languages. And one of my most favorite language R is almost hitting the rock bottom of the 20, which is quite depressing for me. But again, because this video is in Python, so I should be proud that Python is in the third place. So yeah, having said that, if you want to visualize this, like let's say you have got a data frame, but how do I visualize this? That's what we're going to see next. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this data frame and remove this percentage. So you can see now, because you have got this percentage symbol, it's a string. Multiple ways to do it. You can even simply use a regex and then replace, or even you don't need regex, right? You can just use dot replace and then replace the percentage. But what I'm doing is I'm removing stripping of this percentage and converting it into float. So I'm doing two operations at the same time. But again, like I said, there are a lot of different ways to do this. This is one of the ways that I'm doing it. So I'm removing this percentage and converting it into float. Once I am done with this, now my ratings column is a float, so which means I can use that to visualize. So I've got my x-axis ratings, y-axis programming language because I want a horizontal chart, and I've set a title. So let's run it, and you can see April 2021 programming popularity. You can make this chart a lot more appealing and beautiful. That was not the intention of this video. I'm not trying to teach you how to do data visualization here. It's simply to introduce you to TIOBE indexpy and how the programming language rating looks like. So yeah, so now we have got the top 20 programming languages for the month of April 21. But if you look at this data, there is something else also we can do. What can we do? We can actually try to find out which of these programming languages have got the biggest change in last 1 year. So the last column, if you see that says change, it actually talks about the biggest change like within the programming. For example, if you take C as popularity, from last year it has actually dropped, and if you take Python as popularity, from last year it has actually increased, even though the rating, like the ranking was same, like third position April 21, third position April 20, but the rating, the score has actually changed, and that changed percentage is what we are seeing here. So what we can do is we can now do a gainer and loser, like the biggest gainer the biggest gainer of top 20, and then the biggest loser of top 20. So there is only one caveat that you should probably remember if you're going to probably share this with somebody else, is that this visualization that we are going to do, the top 20, is within this top 20. It is entirely possible that there was a language, the last top 20, that is not available here, or vice versa. So keep that caveat in mind. It may not be a lot, but that is an edge case that you should keep in mind. So take this column and then again do the same thing, like convert it into float, or like an integer float, whatever you want to call it, so that you have the number, actual number, instead of a string. That's what we are doing, stripping the percentage, converting it to float. And then now I'm going to visualize it. What I'm trying to visualize, I'm trying to visualize the biggest gainer, the top 5 programming languages that has got the biggest gain from last year, April 2020, when you compare it with April 2021. Python has gained the most, assembly language, Groovy, Delphi, and the classic Visual Basic. These are the top 5 languages that has gained score from the last year same month, which is April 2020. And if I want to see the biggest losers in terms of 2 years, I can do the same thing. So now that I have got already the column name, column value change as a float, I can just simply plot it. And again, this is not the best way to visualize your negative growth, but here we are. So the language that has lost popularity the most according to TIOBE index is Java, followed by C, followed by PHP, and followed by R, and followed by SQL. Now again, I don't want to start data science war between Python, R, SQL, but there is a fact that you cannot deny that Python has gained enormous amount of popularity. This is quite visible in the JetBrains survey. This is quite visible in the Hacker Rank survey. This is quite visible in the Stack Overflow survey as well. So Python has gained a lot of popularity, and my favorite language, R, has actually lost popularity. That is like in the top 5, followed by SQL as well. So now that we have done all the basic stuff, you can do a lot of things with the same data set, but I want to also introduce you to another function. So this one is top 20, a simple function. But if you want another function which is about Hall of Fame, so if you go to the TIOBE index website, you would actually see something called a Hall of Fame. I probably need to figure out where it is, but there is a Hall of Fame which they award every year for a particular programming language. They give an award every year, and then that's what this Hall of Fame data is going to have. So Hall of Fame, HOF, and the function name is hall_of_fame. And once I have that, now I can just simply run that and then see what is the Hall of Fame, or how does it look. So instead of directly just displaying the data frame, I'm doing a little bit of style on the data frame for it to have a hacker theme. I mean, like this doesn't it look like Matrix, or maybe it's a joke. Cool. So if you see Hall of Fame, you can actually look at the programming languages every year, at least in the recent time, what language has gained or become the winner of the Hall of Fame or the most popular programming language for that given year. So last year it was Python, 2019 it was C, 2018 it was Python, C, but previously there are a lot of interesting languages: Java, JavaScript, Transact SQL, Objective-C. Probably this was the time when iOS apps were ruling the market. So you can actually correlate this with a lot of other data and then understand how the programming ecosystem itself has grown, evolved, and the popularity has fluctuated over the period of time. And that takes us probably to the end of this video. This was not intended to be a very long video. I wanted to introduce you to this package called tiobeindexpy. Even before, I wanted to introduce you to this TIOBE index as a metric. Like I said, this is again a slightly controversial metric. A lot of people in a lot of programming language community do not like the way they calculate this metric. You can read here how they actually calculate. It's basically how people search, like using Google search, like for which programming language they've used Google search most, something like that. And after introducing TIOBE index, tiobeindexpy is a Python package that lets you collect TIOBE index, and then we are using Seaborn to visualize top 20 programming languages with the biggest gain compared to the last year, programming language with the biggest loss comparing to the last year, and also finally the Hall of Fame, where we try to see the winner for every single year. And that takes us to the end of this video. I hope this was helpful, or at least it was like a fun journey in trying to define your programming language. Like let's say, like if you're a Python programming language fan, then you can just simply go and say that Python has been the biggest gainer in the last 1 year in terms of TIOBE index, and then you have got a lot of things to celebrate. Or if you're like me, a big fan of our programming language, then I can probably say, oh no, TIOBE index is it's a very bad way to calculate a programming language popularity, and then it doesn't work well. But either way, this is like a fun exercise. Please have a look at it and then let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I hope you stay safe, and see you in the next video.